Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sisters 1 Season 8, Episode 20, entitled Boss Lady. I would like to preface the rest of these episodes by saying, my bad. I thought this was the season finale. I don't know why. Some shabby research was done on my part. Either way, we're on episode 20. I don't know how many more episodes we have to go. Either way, I'm here for the ride. So we're in the wake. We're in the morning after Andy has demanded her place back at the law firm, and she's receiving a standing ovation. Like, everybody's just commending her, for her bravery, for going to get what she wants, and I guess proving herself to be an asset to the company. And it even comes along with some apologies from the partners. Robin, everybody kind of honestly seems glad to have her back in the midst. So that's good news. So she says, she done made her deposits and everything she needs to do as far as the administrative piece of solidifying her partnership. And as of this morning, she is a official managing partner at the firm. Kudos, round of applause. And then she tells them, like, hey, I didn't just come back just to be back. I also came back with plans to expand, my repertoire and the clientele that we have here at the firm. Like, it's some work that's going to get done. I'm here for the long haul, essentially. And so we see Hayden coming in after all of that, and he's in the aftermath of him and Tamara getting their ass monkey stumped, right? And so he walks in and he appears to be genuine for once in his life and tells Andy congratulations and that he's excited to work with her in the future. Now this just me. This just the petty Betty deep within me. This will be his last day. I let the medical bills clear from his ass whooping him last night, but this will be his last day at the firm. For as horribly as he treated me, you would have to get some of that back. But either way, maybe it'll happen down the line. Fingers crossed. Either way, he's visibly beaten and battered and bruised. And Fatima's like, well, what's wrong, Hayden? Like, looks like something's wrong with you. It looks like you're hurting. He's like, nah, it's just an old football injury that I re-injured. Blase blah. You can see that he has a black eye. Like, he probably got broken ribs. Like, there's a lot that's wrong with him. And Fatima's like, hey, like, I got a recommendation for you. Like, I know a massage therapist. Let's go from, I'm guessing the profession. I can't recall. Either way, I know a massage therapist and they can help you. She's my cousin. I can call her. And of course, we know that cousin is pseudo for the cousin that probably put the hit on his ass. But either way, she's making fun of him and she's kind of reveling in the fact that he done got his ass beaten to oblivion, and I don't feel bad about it. All right. We see Robin and he pulls Andy to the side to congratulate her on her win, on her success, and that his work there is now done. That there's nothing holding him there anymore. Of course, that is pseudo, there's no more actual work for him to do. And then there seems to be no more ties or no more romantic interest in him by Andy. And so he's going to be headed back to the UK to be where he's needed the most after all of his administrative ties are done here at the office. And y'all, I'm going to assert it right here that I was wrong. Was I wrong? I don't know. I'll talk about it when I get to that part. Y'all gotta remind me now because y'all know my mind bad, right? Either way, let's talk about it. Either way, we see Sabrina, we see Damani, and everybody coming back from that firm trip that they had at the Turks and Caicos, a professional business relationship that pre-existed, that predated Rich. So let's just make that clear. And either way, they've had a lighthearted conversation about the trip when Tony rolls up on her like player hating, like, hey, what's so funny? Y'all over here sniggling and giggling. And he tells Sabrina, like, hey, she's like, just leave the money alone, so to speak, or whatever. How's Rich doing? And he's like, well, if you still care, you should call him and see how he's doing. And she's like, you a little bit too deep in my business, Tony. Like, you got too much dip on your chip. Everybody calm down. And she reminds him, like, hey, since we checking on people, have you checked on Danny? Because she's been suspended for a whole month. And while you still over there collecting the paycheck, as if you ain't had no parts in her suspension. So while we being worried about people, there's somebody for you to be worried about. Either way, he tells her that her and her friends have the same broken record, and these females need to start taking accountability, and he has some advice for not just for Sabrina, not for Danny, but for the whole sister circle. All of them need to, like, basically take their ass off their shoulder, so to speak, and start taking accountability, because that's all females do is lack accountability, blah, 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 blah. And what I will say here is that really pissed me the entire fuck off. Because how did we get here? How did we get to all these people that you don't have an intimate relationship, knowing that they're unaccountable? How do you have this experience? Or are you just making a generalization as some other groups of people do? Whatever. Either way, he was one of my favorite guys in the mix, and now he's falling down the totem pole. But either way, here we are, and this is what we are dealing with. All right, so now we get into some information, right? We see Hudson, and he goes to see Miss Willis, and she like, child, like, what is you doing? You know we're not supposed to be seen together, and that people are not supposed to even know that I know you. And she knows that they can't afford for that to happen. But Hudson needs to tell her about a big problem that they have on their hand. He tells her, like, hey, I know you know Swinton, that's your homeboy or whatever, and you called him, and he was supposed to stop the POA from being terminated. However, Hayden has pulled a okie doke on you, and he was able to get Swinton to get that undone. So now we got to figure out what's going on, but we'll get back to that. Next up, we see Danny, we see Tony, all of their representatives. They all go to Andy's firm for what appears to be a mediation. And then Tony, he strikes the first blow by being sassy, as he's been for a while now, making everybody aware that Andy is one of Danny's good friends. So that's definitely going to be a conflict of interest. And then Tony's representation tells him, like, no, not really, because it's a mediation that doesn't mean the same thing. A mediation that doesn't matter. She's simply a representative. And so Andy tells him, like, hey, Danny has been suspended without cause. And they're like, no, the cause is that she attacked an employee. And of course, Of course, Danny starts falling apart. She's like, it wasn't unwarranted, blah, 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 blah. And Andy's like, girl, chill, I got this. So we're going to go through that, throughout the episode as well. All right, we see Miss Willis, and she is outdone with Hudson. She like, you really are causing me more problems than solutions. You about to piss me off. She's mad because Hudson told her, like, hey, the stabbing was going to get him temporary control over Gary's financial assets, and then he was supposed to sell them to Miss Willis for dirt cheap in exchange for her pulling her strings and using her power to get the FBI off of their asses, right? And it looks like whoever Hayden being involved with has kind of foiled both of their plans at this point, and now Hudson is worried that they no longer have a deal. And he should be, because Miss Willis is like, I don't want nothing else to do with it. Like, despite your begging and pleading, I don't really care. Now, let's revisit the Hudson situation. He's saying that the stabbing was going to get him temporary cuts. Like, basically, they're leveraging Gary being attempt murdered, right? I still don't believe, I'm still not buying that Hudson is the one that did it. They saw him being in a vulnerable state, things being touch and go, and they needed to get that legal precedent and they needed to get that legal stuff set up so that she can, because remember, Ms. Willis has a vested interest in Gary, whether he's here or not, because I think she invested in him or he took money from her. Like, they have a bad relationship as well previously, years and years and years ago. So I'm guessing she figured, hey, if he died or if he's about to die, let me go and recoup what I've lost by being in bed with this fool years ago. Let me try to get back what I've lost. That's my thinking. I think they just took advantage of an already bad situation. I'm not sure that Hudson is the one that plunged the knife into his chest. I still think that's Robin, but I'm confused at this point. I don't think it's Hudson, but he also seems very, very, very desperate. And if the FBI, he did tell Miss Willis that, hey, I'm kind of basically knee deep in the bull malarkey that Gary has got me into, so I really, really like begging and pleading her to get the FBI off of their trail, but mostly sounds like his trail. He don't want to be involved no more. And it gives like, hey, you guilty by association. This is who you decided to get in bed with. Deal with the repercussions. So I don't know. Y'all thinking it's Hudson? I still got my money on Robin. What y'all think? Okay. We see Damani walking Sabrina home, and he's sitting there looking at her, smiling, having the time of her life. And he does express that he's interested in giving Sabrina more laughs and more happiness. Child, he wants to spend more time with the lady. But she does tell him that things are complicated for her at the moment, and she's not sure. But she is kind of looking like it might not be a bad idea. And then he tells her, like, hey, I'm only one call away whenever you get ready. You know what I don't look forward to is her pursuing this girl. I like Chloe wrapping things up in a nice, wrap this up first, wrap up this rich situation so that he Does it have to keep getting his panties in a bunch every episode? And then maybe very, 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 very slowly. Because think about it. It was from the panty boy, the boy with the two dads, can't remember his name, straight to Rich. Then it would be Damani. It's just giving like, girl, let that coochie simmer for a little bit. Everybody just calm down. Okay. Moving right along. Haiti tells Gary about the POA being rescinded and he's about to be released. So he's like, okay, good. We can, get things moving. And it seems that he was able to dig up some information on Swinton that has forced his hand to undo the power of attorney. When I said POA, it's power of attorney. And so he used the firm's private investigator to dig up some sketchy stuff on Swinton's grandson. And he appears to be in a sex club, sex cult, sex something. Child being made a fool of. That's the best I can explain it. That's the best I can recall. And so that is the leverage he has against Swinton. And while Swinton and Miss Willis are friends, he's trying to protect his grandson. And so that is how he was able to get the power of attorney overturned. All right, so Penelope, she goes to see Jordan in jail, and he got locked up because child, at the end of last episode, he was choking the shit out of Gary. He was unsuccessful, but Gary was able to call the guards, and we see him, so it seems like he has gotten locked up for going to that hospital, putting his hands on that man. And she has to give him the bad news that in addition to, whatever else he got going on, he's been denied bail because of his political ties, with the DNC, is that Democratic National Convention? I don't follow the politics. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Anyway, he was like, listen, at this point, just leave me here to die. I don't have a career. I don't got a woman. Your life is in shambles. I should have never got involved with Andy and Gary. Just leave me here to die so I can waste away. Girl, just go on with your business. And it also looks like in the projections for next week, he's giving very much unaliver of himself, so to speak, and he's just kind of giving up hope. All right, so we see Sabrina. She goes to the smoothie shop to check on Rich, right? And both of them are kind of being real nice, nasty, real passive aggressive, giving that type of, girl, focus, giving that type of energy, right? And of course he thinks the trip that she went on with Damani was more than business. And he also is sitting there questioning her to see if her story would line up with what Tony told her, what happened this morning when they returned from the trip, where he was being real sassy at the airport. And she was like, listen, do you know me to be a liar? Like, why would I lie about what happened? Like, you don't know me to be a liar. I don't have a history of lying to you. Why would I start now? Good point. Either way, he is still mad that she made the decision to proceed with her investment, and he has now decided that he's going to do the same, and he's basically brushing her off, and he's trying to take care of his little clients at his smoothie shop. And she is like, I don't know, Sabrina had a little get up and go about it. She's like, okay, boom, the round is on me, like threw the money on the counter. And I think, I don't know, I tell this lie with every argument that they have in this thing, saying that this may be the end of the thing, but I don't know, Sabrina's also very, I won't say naive, she's very forgiving, and so it may not be the absolute end, but it would be nice if it was. All right. Andy needs to know why Leonard isn't, they're still at the mediation, she wants to know why Leonard isn't being suspended, despite him walking around the airport, making slanderous comments throughout the workplace about Danny. And also, why is Tony not suspended either? Like, he has a role in this as well. Leonard made her a target when the VP, Tony, pulled some strings to get her into an internship opportunity that she didn't even express any interest in, that she still has no interest in, that she told him she had no interest in, and he insisted on enrolling her in, which, again, made her a target. Before this, nobody was paying her no attention. So by the end of the line of questions that Andy has for Tony and his representation, by the end of it, she presented Danny to be basically a victim of not one but two misogynist men. One being Leonard, by way of him slanderizing her name all over the place and harassing her to the point where she had to defend herself via knocking the coffee out of his hand. But Tony, by way of him deciding that she cannot manage her own life and he needs her to come in, she needs him to come in and help her and use his power to get her into this program, even though she is not interested, was not interested. He felt like he was just helping her. Now, I am of the belief that Danny is no victim. Absolutely not. And I'm just saying that by character, not by description. Like, she's not a poor damsel victim in this thing. But I know that this is a legal representation and we have to pull out the worst actual implication so we can get this thing moving. So, of course, this is going to work out in Danny's favor, and her and Tony will just have to see each other, or everybody gets suspended. Because for me, everybody gets suspended or nobody gets suspended. Everybody get fired or nobody get fired. We all had a role, so we'll see. But it is interesting that Danny is seen as the only aggressor in this thing. Physical aggressor, sure, but there was some mental anguish. If you're gonna play the court terms, sure. As far as Leonard, like, telling people she laid on her back to get the position, Tony kind of yielding his power in however that comes forth, and neither of the men being suspended, only Danny. Either way, that's been the end of the episode. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. We almost at the end. I'm tired, but we almost at the end. Either way, like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.